I think a good way to think about this is side effects. Every medicine has side effects. No such thing as a medicine without side effects. And the only way to reduce the side effects of a medicine is also to reduce what? The benefit of the medicine. And that's what happens when we try to fix people's weaknesses. This is acceptance. Instead of trying to fix people's weaknesses, when we fix people's weaknesses, we damage their strengths. Just like side effects, everyone has side effects. There's no such thing as a medicine without side effects. There's no employee, no child, no spouse, no friend, no partner, no business partner without side effects. And if you think you're going to find the person who's all upside and no downside, you are about to have a miserable life and a miserable existence. We have to accept the reality of side effects. Peter Drucker said it this way: strong people always have strong weaknesses too, where there are peaks, there are valleys. If you want strong employees, they're going to have strong weaknesses. You want strong partners, they're going to have strong weaknesses. You want strong children, they're going to have strong weaknesses. Strong people always have strong weaknesses too, where there are peaks, there are valleys. Oh, come on, Dave, let's try to fix them. Okay, fine, let's go to Walmart. Let's use a business example. Walmart is really good at low prices. They're bad at poor service, poor quality, poor design. Let's go to Target. Ladies, what do we call Target? Target, right? Because a self-respecting woman will walk up to you and say, I got it at Target. No woman in the history of mankind has ever walked up to another woman and said, I got it at Walmart. Check it out. Okay? Nobody does that. And why do we call it Target? Better service, better quality, better design. So why doesn't everyone shop there? Because it costs more. So let's go back to Walmart. Let's fix them. Let's just pick one. Let's fix service. Let's hire more people, train them better, pay them better, give them better benefits. What just happened to our costs? What just happened to our prices? What just happened to our strength? Let's go to Target. Let's lower those prices. We're going to have to sacrifice some service, sacrifice some quality, sacrifice some design. And as we lift up the weakness, we pull down the strength. You say, no, Dave, it doesn't have to be a trade-off. Give me an example. It's called Kmart. Okay. Kmart was the low-price leader. All they had to do was lower their prices a little bit more. For a little while, Walmart never would have gained any traction. Instead, they hired Martha Stewart. And they tried to be a little bit of Target and a little bit of Walmart. This is called the best of both worlds strategies, and they went bankrupt. Nobody hates Kmart. Nobody even knows there is a Kmart where they live. People drive past Kmart to go to Target to have a better experience. They drive past Target and Kmart because they want to save money, and they go to Walmart because they don't care about their psychological and emotional well-being. Right? But in both cases, they know they're making a trade-off, and they make it willingly. We have to understand that that's the reality. Frances Fry, in her book on common service, says, striving for all-around excellence leads directly, do not pass go, directly to mediocrity. We have to accept the strengths and weaknesses. What makes us weird makes us wonderful. What makes us weak also makes us strong. But acceptance, let's ramp it up to appreciation. Acceptance is, I'm stuck with this. Appreciation is, it's awesome. We succeed because of our weaknesses, not in spite of them. George Eliot said, every limit is a beginning as well as an ending. And I want to show you the beginnings that come with the limits that we have. So let's take dyslexia. You struggle with words, you struggle with letters, you struggle with sentences and paragraphs. You struggle to read and you struggle to write, so you struggle in school. And if you struggle in school, we've all been taught that you'll struggle in life. Which is why they were surprised when they were studying millionaires in the United Kingdom and discovered that 50% of the millionaires in the study, 50, had dyslexia, even though only 10% of people in the general population had dyslexia. Then they were studying entrepreneurs, people who started their own businesses in the United States, and discovered that 33% of them had dyslexia, even though only 10% of people in the general population have dyslexia. Ingvar Kamprad, the billionaire founder of IKEA, has dyslexia. Richard Branson, the billionaire founder of the Virgin series of companies, has dyslexia. But that's not all. You might be thinking, Dave, maybe he's not as excited about having dyslexia as you are. But they asked him that very question, how has dyslexia affected your success? And he said, strangely, I think my dyslexia has helped. This is crucial. I succeeded because I have dyslexia, not because I overcame my dyslexia. Paul Orfalea got kicked out of 4 high schools because he was so dyslexic. Then he got fired from 4 family-owned businesses. His own parents and brothers and sisters refused to work with him because he was so dyslexic and had ADD. So he started his own business called Kinko's, and he sold it to FedEx for $2.4 billion. And he says this, I think everyone should have dyslexia. If you offered him a pill to take away his dyslexia, he'd say no thank you, and I suspect he's currently working on a pill to give you dyslexia. That's appreciation. You should have what I have. And what scientists are starting to discover is that the very brain that dyslexic people have is not broken. The very brain that they have that causes them to struggle in school, the very brain that they have that causes them to struggle in school causes them to succeed in life at a higher level than most other people ever will. Big weakness, big strength. Connected in the same condition. What makes us weird makes us wonderful. What makes us weak also makes us strong. So if we believe that, we'd act differently. What would that look like? Amplification is the first thing we do differently. We exaggerate weaknesses instead of eliminating them. We turn up the volume instead of turning it down. What does that look like in real life? Jimmy Kimmel was asked to host the White House Correspondents' Dinner. At one point, he walked up to the podium and he said, "I just want to thank Mr. Mills, my 10th grade history teacher, who told me I'd never amount to anything if I didn't stop screwing around. Mr. Mills, I'm about to high-five the President of the United States of America." And then he did, putting this woman in the most awkward picture of all time. And then he came back to the podium and he said, "Suck it, Mills." Okay? Now let's break down what happened with Jimmy. Mr. Mills was trying to help him. I'm not down on teachers. I'm not down on principals. They have the right intentions. They have the wrong framework. And Mr. Mills told him, "You'll never amount to anything unless you stop screwing around. Turn it all the way back to 0. And what did Jimmy Kimmel do? He went pro at screwing around. He turned it up to 11. He became more childish, more immature, more silly, more ridiculous. He created a life out of the thing that Mr. Mills told him would never get him anywhere, and it took him everywhere. That's amplification. I got in trouble at school because I talked too much. Now I travel the world as a speaker. Teachers would call me out in class and be like, "Dave, I guess you just want to be the center of attention." And I'm like, ta-da. Weaknesses are strengths, and once we recognize that, we turn up the volume on those characteristics that people have been telling us to turn the volume down on. Mark Sims is a guy who runs a business. He's an EO guy in Seattle. He runs a business called Fikes. They do facilities management. His new slogan is "Proudly obsessed with the dirty details." Right? Proudly obsessed with the dirty details. Right? If you have details and they're dirty that you need handled, right, who are you going to hire? Let me give you an example. You might be like, how obsessed could he be? We were talking, and he said he went into one of the companies they were serving, and they had just gotten new stainless steel, and the guy was showing it off. And Mark, who's super anal retentive, said, "But is it all the same kind of stainless steel?" What are you talking about? Like, I didn't know there were other kinds, right? Mark knows stuff about details that other people have never heard of.